Gemini and Virgo, and because it is the closest planet to the sun, it is also the fastest moving planet. That is why it represents communication and it represents logic, because it comes at light speed. It's like a quick thing. It's logic, and communication is best when it's quick and it's precise. And that's why Mercury represents that. So, and when you put it into the third house, now the third house is the house of Gemini. So Mercury actually likes to be in the third house. So because now it's in the energy that it rules, which is Gemini. So now what happens with this combination? It's at home. Mercury wants to be here. So this makes people with this placement, they can be very talkative. They can have a lot to say. That's why I make these videos, by the way, because I have Mercury in the third house. So sometimes I just have a lot to say. I've been told, sometimes I've been told that I talk a lot. Other times I've been told I'm very quiet. It just depends on the subject, to be honest. Depending on who you meet, they might tell you I'm extremely quiet, or somebody else might say I talk a lot. But, it just depended on the subject, right? So, and depending on what Mercury you have, that will color it even more as to what it is that you like to talk a lot about. Now, if your Mercury is in Gemini and it's in the third house, then obviously you're going to be the type of person, because that's where Mercury wants to be times two, because not only is it in its sign, it is now in the house that it wants to be. So now that's like times two. So now you are a talkative person and you like to talk about everything, because Gemini is a very scatterbrained energy, and it's just about collecting all the facts, all the information, all the logic coming through, all the thoughts, specifically the thoughts coming through and speaking on it. So if you have that placement, if it's Gemini in the third house, then you'd be an extremely talkative person for the most part, unless there's like some weird aspects like that are causing it to be restricted. Maybe you have opposition, it's opposing your moon or something. Your moon wants to do something else, but your mind wants to, there can be scenarios where that can change. But for that scenario, I would say that's a really talkative person that talks about everything. But if it's like, like for example, me, Mercury in Pisces, but it's in the third house, I like to talk a lot about astrology. I like to talk a lot about philosophy. I like to talk a lot about art, so I might go on and on and on about these subjects. So, or I might talk about some things that might not even be relevant to you, because sometimes Pisces can be daydreaming. So it might be completely irrelevant to you and what you're dealing with right now. That can be annoying sometimes, but that's the nature of Pisces. That's the energy of Pisces. So that's where my placement comes from. It's not going to be talking about everything. It's just going to be talking about things that are in regards to the spiritual realm, imagination, and creativity. So, and astrology is like the spiritual, or it's the energy behind, and the energy and the philosophy behind astronomy. So astronomy is more of the logical understanding of the positioning of the stars and all that. So that's why I would have a preference to talk about astrology rather than astronomy. So, okay, back to Mercury in the third house. These people, having this placement probably will give you a lot of siblings. It probably will give you a lot of communication with your siblings. Let's see what else. You're probably a person that's really good with your hands, really talented with, really probably a good speaker. Unless it's debilitating. If it's in Pisces like mine, you might have been a late bloomer when it came to speaking, or you might be reluctant to speak sometimes for whatever reason that is. Because like I said, depending on who you talk to, I could be an extremely quiet person or a very talkative person. It just depends on who you talk to be honest. So, but if your Mercury is debilitated, then it's going to change. But I guess Mercury in the third house, another thing I would say is, for the most part, you think a lot about business. You think a lot about your siblings. you think a lot about how, and when I say business, because you're trying to basically be a part of your community, represent, because Gemini represents your neighborhood, you know. So when it comes to business, you want to, the reason why you would apply the business thing, thinking about business a lot, because you want to be a major role in your community. So that might be why you think a lot about business and think a lot about advertising and all that stuff. You might be good at that. You might be good at being a salesman. Pardon me. You might be an entrepreneur with this placement, to be honest. The negative qualities with this placement, for sure, you might talk a lot. You might annoy people because you talk a lot about stuff. You might try to dominate conversations because your energy here causes you to feel like you're an authority there. What else? You probably have a lot of thoughts going on. You probably have a lot going on your mind, and that can either make you quiet or talkative, one or the other. Gonna wrap this video up, but the last thing I would say about this placement, and I just want to really set this in, is that you guys, for the most part, are very, you probably are very good with your hands, because this is Gemini energy we're dealing with. So, and you're probably really good with your words, probably poetic, probably really good at writing, or this might be something that you're interested in. If you're not great at it, this is something you're interested in. This is something you want to perfect for the most part. So this is my video on Mercury in the 3rd house. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope I didn't leave anything out, because I went on a tangent, because I talk a lot, but you guys are getting an example of what that is through me, things that I'm talking about. All right, peace.